All right, hello everyone, and welcome to So You Got a Gun. This is the episode, and today we're going to be talking about long guns. A quick safety brief, which today is going to be know your target and what's beyond it. I think this is a pretty good safety brief, and a very important one to two different sections of firearms, in my opinion. One is to target shooting, when you can look at your target, know what's beyond it, know what's beyond the hill, beyond that. So if there's a miss, you know where it's going. And I suggest that when you do shoot target in your backyard or at your friend's house, you get up on that hill and you go look back there and make sure there's nobody back there that you're unaware of. And the next section of that know your target is talking about in the defensive situation at night or at dusk is actually positively identifying what you're planning on shooting at, whether that's with a light or if some sort of identification in another way. But that's a very important thing to be able to identify what it is that you're planning on shooting, whether it's a target or a person that's possibly breaking into your home. Heard stories, throughout the gun industry of, I heard a noise, I grabbed my gun, I ran downstairs, I shot the bad guy, and it was her son coming home from college that forgot his key and broke the back window out to get into the house. So that's one of the very important things. Identify what's your target, what you're shooting at, and what's beyond it. That's very, very important. Safety brief?
I do. We're responsible for every one of those bullets we let go. So like you were saying, a light is a good way to do it. It doesn't have to be a weapon-mounted, gun-mounted light. I like to carry a pocket flashlight because at some point today it's going to get dark. There's a pretty good chance that it's going to get dark at some point. Another thing about lights on guns is not everything that you want to see needs to have a gun pointed at it. So, pocket flashlight is a great idea. It doesn't have to be one of these. It can be teeny tiny little stylus light or anything. But another good thing is verbal identification. Who's there? When I was a kid, my dad thought that I was somebody breaking into the house when I was like 5 years old. I was like rummaging through the cupboards. I woke up in the middle of the night and I wanted a snack, and he came downstairs with a .357 Magnum. But he said, "Who's down there?" or whatever it was. But I remember the incident, but I didn't remember until later when they told me the story, about like shortly after he had to make a big change in how they kept the gun in the house and everything. Like, he was terrified. He almost shot his 5-year-old son with a,
Jeez, Dad, all I wanted was a Twinkie.
Pop-Tarts, bro. Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. But yeah, know your target was beyond it.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into the actions and purposes of long guns. It's going to be just kind of a brief overview of some of the variety of long guns that are on the market. We have bolt actions and semi-autos and break opens and lever actions. We're just going to kind of go over their function, go over how they work a little bit, and hopefully if you're listening, we can describe them well enough that you can identify them. And then we'll talk about their actions or their purposes a little bit. So, Matt, why don't you take it away with the first one, which is the
lever action.
Lever action. The cowboy gun.
So, yes, the gun that won the West. Well, not this one in particular, but as you can see, if you're not an avid gun person, you can see this looks a little strange. I've done this so you can see that the gun is not loaded. But the action is open. This is a lever action 30-30 Henry. It's a tube fed. So what you do is you pull the tube out of here, and then you see right here where you're going to see where this goes black when I pull the tube out. That's where you load. Then you push this tubular magazine back down in. There's a little locking mechanism. Lock it up. And then what happens is there's your trigger guard, and then there's this other loop here where you put all your three non-firing fingers I'm sorry, your 3 fingers on your firing hand, and then you push down. You open up the action and you close it back up. What happens is you open the action and the bolt comes back and cocks the hammer back. And then a cartridge comes into the feed ramp. You pull the lever back in, and then that pulls the action closed. The bolt grabs the cartridge and puts it into battery, hammers back, and now you are ready to take a shot. Or you can hold the hammer down and lightly pull the trigger to the rear and slowly let the hammer forward so the gun is back in a safe position. Every time I move the gun around, it gets lost in my beard. You see that? But yeah,
is it like Chuck Norris? You have a lever action hiding in your beard?
Guns carry me for protection, like Chuck Norris. Like guns carry Chuck Norris for protection. But yeah,
and now we're gonna have endless Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh, dude, I love those Chuck Norris jokes. They're like my favorite. But yeah, that was like, okay, I'm not a gun history buff. I'll be the first one to admit it. But as far as my understanding, that was like the first, bad whammer jammer. Like that was like the AR of its time. That was it, the repeating rifle of the time, like pow, 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 pow. So now they're predominantly used for hunting applications, but they could be used for self-defense. What do you think? Do you have any experience with lever actions?
Yeah, actually, the first gun that I ever hunted with, I borrowed a 30-30 lever action to go deer hunting with, and it was a open sight, steel sight 30-30 lever action. That was an oldie but a goodie, and I took my first deer with that rifle. So it's a really good rifle. I'm kind of a fan of the old actions. I don't have a lot of old actions like the lever actions and some of the like the older revolvers. I don't have a lot of those, but I really like them. I like the nostalgia behind them. They're kind of cool, and I like to read a little bit about the lever actions or the history of guns. And the lever action is a big part of our history for sure.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
So the next one we're going to go over is in my end. I got my deer rifle with me today. So what I have is a 30-06 bolt action, and hopefully you guys can kind of get an idea here that, see if I can angle that right. This is unloaded. There's nothing down there, and there's nothing. There is a bolt on the side that you push and lock down, and then do let go of the round. You pull the bolt back up and back to the rear. And that motion of back to the rear will eject the spent casing, and the forward momentum of pushing the bolt forward will collect the next round and insert into the chamber. So these are pretty cool rifles. They are extremely accurate rifles. This is a Remington 700. This is the same action that is used in the Marine Scout sniper rifle. It's commonly available on for a pretty reasonable price. It's a very reliable gun. They're very, very robust. The action is robust. They're hard to get to break. They're very hard to get to malfunction, because once that bolt's in place, there's not much beyond just the simple trigger pull to get that to fire. So this is primarily for hunting large game, so deer, elk, buffalo. If we hunt buffalo anymore, I don't think we do really. Bear, things that are larger than your small game stuff like coyotes and rabbits and such. So it's a good rifle. It's very accurate. Depending on the caliber, your range goes anywhere from about 500 yards all the way out to 1,000 plus, depending on what you're shooting. I just read recently that they just set a new record. It is off the top of my head, but it was a new long-range record that was pretty darn impressive. I think it was a little bit shy of 2 miles, or a little over 2 miles. I don't remember off the top of my head now. So
I think it was a little over 2 miles. It was
I thought so too.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So that's my my bolt action. Matt, you got anything for bolt actions?
I don't have anything up here on the table, but yeah, I have a few, ranging from brand new stuff to I think I have it's like a 1950 something. What the heck is that? I can't even remember what it is. I haven't even shot it. I've had it for 10 years, and it's just like, that's a great price and a cool gun, whatever. But what in the heck is that? It's not a 308, but it's a
30-30, 30-06,
no, it's
43.
What's the Russian?
Oh, 30.
Yeah, it's a 7.62 by 54. I can't remember what in the world it's called, and it's like a sin to not know off the top of my head what this is. But mine is actually a Polish-made carbine size.
That's cool. I like some of those foreign guns like that. They're neat.
Yeah, I picked it up because I thought, oh, you know what? That's really cool. It was made like within a couple years or year or two of when my dad was born. I thought, this is pretty neat. I'll give it a whirl. Let's see what's up. And then I never did anything with it. Mainly because it's heavy, like very heavy. It's got a steel butt plate, and I've shot a 30-06. The one that I had, and when I used to have an .06, it was like super lightweight, great gun. It was a Smith & Wesson eye-bolt, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
It would beat the living crap out of you. Like, you shoot 10 rounds out of that, you're done.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot anymore.
Like, by that 8th, 9th, 10th round, you're like flinching because it was so lightweight, and the recoil was it was jarring. So knowing that, I never really cared to get out that other gun.
So I think there's two really distinct differences between long guns that we see. We see shouldered rounds like 30-06, 30-30 rifle rounds, and then we have the shotguns, which they can shoot a pretty hefty 1 or 2 ounce slug, or a multiple buckshot round of different size pellets depending on what you buy. If it's buckshot, it's pretty big, basically about the size of a ball bearing. There's 2 or 3 of them in there. And then there's birdshot, which is tiny birdshot that's propelled through a shotgun. So the next one that we've got, I think Matt's got, is the pump action shotgun. And that's another one that's extremely popular.
Yeah. This is a youth size. It's a youth model. Remington 870 20 gauge. And I got this for my 9-year-old son. Great gun. He's kind of a tall kid for 9. He's not big. He's super slender and muscular kid, but he's not a giant. So these are very easy to shoulder and shoot. And really, I have this open so we can all see that it's clear. But again, this is very similar as far as how it loads as the 30-30, the lever action. It's a tube magazine, but you load from down here this time. You're just pushing your shells up into here. And then when you're ready, there's your slide. Pull it back to open the action. And this is where we've all heard that gun shop logic of you just rack that slide and they're jumping through the first window. Nonsense. We'll talk about that another time. But that's actually how this works. And then depending on what kind of gun you have or what the purpose of the gun is, you can get extended magazines, extended tubes. If this is for hunting, or if it's for hunting, you want to leave it like this. If it's for self-defense, take this cap off, and then you can pull this tube out and replace it with a longer tube. You can add in a couple rounds. So, yeah, that's shotguns.
Matt, you want to know what the best, and I'm air quoting for those that are listening, home defense advice that I was ever given was?
I'm dying. Let's hear it.
It's pretty funny. I don't remember who told me this now, but they said the best thing you can do is get a big giant dog bone and a big giant pair of work boots and a note on the door that says, "Went to the store because dogs are really hungry."
Is that real? Is that for real?
That was actually advice I was given
Oh my God.
for own defense. I nodded and walked away at that point.
Like, I've left notes on the door, but they're typically like, "Do not ring the doorbell," because if you wake up the baby, he's your responsibility. Nothing you have nothing that you have to sell me or want to talk to me about is worth as much as the silence that I'm experiencing right now. It was like, not verbatim, but it was pretty darn close to actually what the note said. Like, even post office, everything. "I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to talk to you because you're going to wake up my kids."
Yeah, don't do that. Don't wake up kids. That's evil. That's pure evil right there. So I've got one of the other shotgun variables that's out there. This is my very first gun that I ever owned. It's a 20 gauge youth model. Ooh, I don't remember who makes this. Springfield, actually.
No kidding. I didn't even know that they made a single a breakover. I had no idea. That's cool.
Springfield model 940E. So basically what this does is there's a lever on the side. You push it down, break it open, and there's a single spot for a round. You can kind of see in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Plug the round in, ratchet it back, and this one is actually hammer fired. I've seen a few other variants that are not hammer fired, but that one's actually open hammer fired. I've seen a few that the hammer is enclosed as opposed to one that you can actually thumb back with your thumb. So this is just a simpler model. I think these are great guns. They're very, very, once again, they're super reliable. There's not a whole lot to them. There's not a lot of pieces. But the downfall to them is you can shoot it once and then you have to reload it. And that can take a little time if you're not accustomed to reloading in that manner. I shot skeet for a while, and we had the opportunity to shoot with a guy who very easily could have went to the Olympics for shooting skeet. He was extremely good skeet shooter. And he started challenging himself after a while, and he shot a whole year of skeet with a single shot shotgun. So he was blasting 2 skeet at a time by breaking it open and slapping another round in and catching the other round. Pretty cool, and it was extremely challenging for him. By the end of the year, he was clearing the whole course with a single shot shotgun. It was pretty impressive stuff. So they have their place. They're very cool. They're very reliable. It's another good option for a gun for a long.
Now, with that single shot, did you know, like, what is the recoil difference like between, what's the felt recoil like between a pump shotgun and a breakover? Is there because there's, not a lot of places for the gas to escape?
Yeah, in fact, that's a really good point. I've shot, that's a 20 gauge, and I've actually shot in the same shooting instance, a semi-auto shotgun, a pump shotgun, and then my single shot shotgun. And the recoil is much greater with a single shot shotgun. Partially because the weight is a little bit different. It's not quite as heavy. And partially because what you said is there's no place for that gas to go. The only place it has to go is backward into your shoulder or out the barrel. That's it. In a pump shotgun, they're a little heavier, so the recoil is a little bit different. And then in a semi-auto shotgun, that gas is being used to move the chamber. So that recoil is different as well. But they are a little harsher, and I think that's mostly because of their weight. Gas only escapes essentially forward or into the shoulder.
Okay, that makes sense. If all the gas is going in one direction, the gun's got to go the opposite way, right?
Correct.
Cool. Well, that's a nice looking gun. Very nice.
I've had that for a while. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not the first gun I ever had, so I take really super good care of it, and I'm always polishing it and stuff. And maybe I'm gonna hopefully give it to my kids someday. So.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Shoot, I don't know. Sorry. I was gonna say something and it completely escaped me. It's been a really long day, and I think people forget sometimes the reason they don't watch our show live is because we start recording at midnight or shortly after, and we're both up early in the mornings. We work the second shift and stuff. God, we should try.
Yeah.
We should try recording the show like middle of the day when kids are sleeping or something. I don't
Morning time,
Yeah,
normal.
let's do that. But hey, cover
should
me
do a
for a
weekend
second.
show.
I gotta go make a bowl of cereal.
I gotta make a bottle and change a diaper. I'll be back in just a second.
I thank God every day that I miss my kids being little and babies and whatnot and cute, but I don't miss the diaper changing. Oh my God.
My word, yeah. There's some stories. Ooh.
Let's not do that.
No, let's not.
What do we have?
So
what else are we talking about tonight? I know. I think you've got it though. It's the
I got the next
big black rifle.
The big black rifle, the big evil black rifle.
My wife used to say, "Your giant gun." And it's like, giant gun.
It's not
It's
giant.
It just looks scary because you watch too many movies. Like, come on.
Is mine still scary if it's not black?
Did you hear crickets? No. Did it just get dark?
No, I heard my wife's comment from the other room. So mine is in this beautiful burnt orange or burnt bronze. So there you go. It's definitely clear.
I know this is like we're doing this for like a beginner's show, but we shouldn't have to do that anymore. If you want to shoot holes in your own floor, go for it. It's good. This is live. Nothing you can do about it. Okay, just let them all call us idiots. It's fine.
Sure.
Okay, we're done doing that.
So, did you hear us? We're done. No more. We checked these things like 8 times before we handle them in the first place.
Yeah, on camera. He's checking mine. I'm checking his. Like, turn it a little bit so I can see. Like, why are we doing this?
Hey, we gotta be responsible gun owners, right? I mean, that's a rule. So this is the next one we're gonna talk about. This is the evil black rifle, the AR. This is a perfect example of a gas impingement rifle that relies on the excess gas from the round and the little bit of recoil to chamber another round. It's a semi-automatic rifle. This one happens to be chambered in 5.56 or 2.23, slightly different cartridge, but they're very compatible. There are a lot of different models of semi-automatic rifles, anywhere from the evil black rifles that we see a lot of. There's a lot of long gun rifles, such as the Mini 14 that's out there. These are very versatile firearms. They're used for home defense. They're used for target shooting. They're used for hunting. Pretty much if you want to shoot, this can do it. They come in a wide variety of calibers and chambers. If you're in Michigan or some of the other states, we currently just changed our hunting laws. We used to have a shotgun line. So above the line, you could shoot with a rifle, you could hunt with a rifle. And below the line, you had to hunt with a shotgun. We just recently changed those laws. Now you can hunt with a smooth walled pistol cartridge rifle below the rifle line. So like 357 Magnum, there's a bunch of them out there. But a lot of the Michigan manufacturers are making ARs that are chambered in those particular rounds so that you have a nice semi-automatic rifle that shoots the correct rounds for hunting in the lower peninsula below the shotgun line. But these are extremely versatile. They're very easy to maintain. They're very tough. They are very nice for modularity as far as the ability to take and fit specifically to the person. If you're a tall guy like me, you like this out a little farther. If you're a shorter person, you can collapse it in, depending on the model. And you can put every kind of addition to this you would ever want to put on here.
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
are
somebody makes a rail-mounted toaster. So
they are the Barbie doll of guns. I mean, there is a different outfit for every day of the week. Like there's no end to the different companies, manufacturers, and colors of the different stuff you can put on one. Right? I mean,
you leave my colors alone.
whatever.
I like my bronze.
Hey, whatever color you like is fine with me, pal. I'm fine with it.
Please stop me if I ever paint a gun pink. That's not my wife's.
No, I mean, I don't care. You know, it's fine with me if you want a pink gun. It's cool. You know, we have some friends right here in Michigan that do some great. I mean, I don't know if we really want to get into the weeds on this, but my friend Mike and his wife Dana at Blown Deadline, like they're some of the, as far as I'm concerned, and if you look in a gun magazine or you go to SHOT Show, they are probably the best Cerakote artists in the biz. Like they are the best.
Didn't they do the Dream Gun, the S&W Dream Gun from SHOT 2 years ago?
Yes.
When they did the big Dream Gun, yeah, their work is amazing.
Yeah, if you pick up a gun magazine, you're going to see at least one piece of work they've done. You get on Instagram, I mean, they're everywhere, and just the coolest people too, like the absolute coolest people. We have some other friends on the other side of the state, in Grand Rapids. Holland Tactical Solutions. They do some Cerakote as well. It's different than what Mike and Dana at Blown Deadline do. It's different stuff. You know, no, I don't want to take away from what Aaron and Will do over there, but it's not the same type of artistic stuff and like the crazy, like high end stuff. But yeah, they do some nice stuff over there at Holland as well. So if you're looking for Cerakote for your guns, check one of those two companies out.
Blown Deadlines. I love the Blown Deadlines battle worn stuff. I don't know why I'm so attracted to that, but it looks cool to me.
Oh, dude, it's absolutely amazing. Like he doesn't even put up a booth at SHOT Show. I asked him about it a couple of years ago, like, oh, you blah blah blah, whatever. You do a booth when I was at the shop talking with him. He said, I don't really need to. I can just walk around and go, oh, we did this one, and we did this one, and we did this one, you know.
That one's mine.
Like, I never cared too much about it. I thought, oh, that's really cool, but he's a friend of mine, so he did my Glock 17, and it's absolutely gorgeous, just beautiful. I'm doing a build right now where we were talking about how ARs, you can take an AR and turn it into whatever. I'm building an AR for hunting for next year. It's a 450 Bushmaster.
I hate you right now.
Yeah, well, I got to talk to Mike still, but we'll get out there, I don't know, in the spring after SHOT Show, and things I don't think things ever slow down for Mike. I mean, he's busy all the time. I mean, every time I've been in the shop, which is not that many times, not that often really, but dude, his place is amazing. Actually, he's moved, but his place is amazing. Like the stuff you see in there, you couldn't go to a gun shop and see the stuff that he has. It's like heaven for gun guys. Like just the most amazing stuff. And if you don't believe me, get on Instagram and look at Blown Deadline. Fantastic.
Right. So this is a factory Cerakote job. So this is a Daniel Defense, and that's Cerakote. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's good stuff.
I like it better than the knife. You know, whatever the what's the other phosphorus coating they put on a lot.
Yeah, the Foz. There's a couple other ones out there. I'm a huge fan of ceramic stuff in general.
Yeah,
and that's what that's based off, is a ceramic coating. And it's just tough. I'm hard on my guns. I'm really hard on them. I treat them as tools, and I'm very amazed that AR has held up as good as it has. And I've slammed it around quite a bit, and it's been drug across some gravel. And I mean, for me, it's a tool, and it really doesn't show it. I haven't been able to find anything on here as anything. I mean, even in the extractor, usually you see a lot of chunk scarring there, and it's really been, I mean, it's in really good shape for as much abuse as it's been through. I don't have anything that's where anything's wearing off, or I think the muzzle brake actually has more wear on it than the rest of the gun does.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's really durable stuff.
Yeah, and with Cerakote, you are going to get somewhere around hard lines, hard edges. Like if it's a pistol, for instance, the muzzle of the gun all around the end of your slide when you holster, unholster, reholster, you're going to get a lot of. Eventually, you're going to get somewhere. And I've noticed even with the one that Mike did, you're going to get somewhere. You just are.
Well, I mean, you see that in factory finishes as well.
Absolutely right. I was just going to say the same thing. You get it with bluing. You get it with Cerakote. It doesn't matter. Cerakote, Durakote, doesn't matter. You're going to get that if you use your gun. Like take it to classes or take it to the range and practice drawing and dry fire practice, anything. Yeah, you're definitely going to. Or you take your cool AR that you've got, Alex, and throw it in the trunk of the vehicle with a bunch of other, with a couple of dozen sockets and ratchets and wrenches, and just go crazy up and down dirt roads. You'll have battle worn in no time.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning on doing. I keep hoping to dig it up a little bit more to make it battle worn, but I don't know why I like that look so much. It just looks cool.
It is pretty.
My Glock is finally there. My Glock definitely looks battle worn. it's so banged up and scratched. I had a CPL class early this summer, and I have been called a Glock fanboy. I don't know if I'll deny it or not, but I've been called a Glock fanboy. And some of the students were asking me why I was such a fanboy of Glocks. And I walked over, and my shooting range I use is pretty sandy. It's gravelly, dirty. And I kind of walked over, and I opened the slide, and I dumped a handful of sand. I threw it down, and I kicked it around a couple of times. And I picked it up, and I dropped the magazine through it real quick. And I went, because it shoots every time. And the look on the students' faces after I threw it in the dirt and then kicked it, they were just like,
yeah,
you're gonna hurt your gun.
Yeah,
I love it. It makes me happy.
I get that too in classes, and I don't do it just like I don't think that anybody else should do it, but I do the same thing. I show it's clear and remove the magazine. I'll pitch it. It's just I get it, especially when you're new. I just spent $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $1,000, whatever, on a gun. I don't want to throw it in the dirt. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But after a while, and it's, Scott, you've been carrying it for a couple of years, and it's got wear marks from your body. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Toss it around. It's all right. Throw it in the bottom and safe. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Dude, one time, I swear to God, one time I opened the action on my 17, and I launched that thing up in the air. Like we were shooting, on a range in a field, but it was like, it landed in the worst possible place where a tractor would go through. And it was like, thump, barrel first. Like mud was coming out of, it was ridiculous. Mud was the whole way through the barrel. I had to get on an air compressor to get everything out and switched around in a bucket. It was terrible. But it still worked. Yeah,
it still worked. There's a lot of great guns out there. I've seen that done with MPs and SIGs, and
yeah, like
they're all pretty bulletproof guns.
I have like my assistant instructor Manny. That's all he's like. He's like, dude, keep your Glock. That's fine. It shoots. I get it. I hate it. I like my Smith. I like my M&P. I love it. Sure. And he shoots it. He shoots it great. But you know what? The thing is, I can pick up his gun, or he can pick up my gun, and we can both shoot. As long as you understand the sights and the trigger part, it doesn't matter. You might like one better than the other, right?
Absolutely. I've shot M&Ps and SIGs. I try to shoot all the guns that come to my class. So that's kind of my goal. Is every time I have somebody come to a CPL class, I'm like, okay, if I haven't shot it yet, I want to shoot it once or twice. Right. I'll pay for the ammo. That's fine, but I want to shoot it once or twice.
That's something that it's a stipulation in my classes is whether it's, you know, my ammunition, your ammunition, whatever, will make up the difference somehow. But I shoot 5 rounds out of everybody's gun. If you bring a gun, I want to shoot 5 rounds because 1, I get to make sure that the gun is, you know, safe to operate. 2, I get to see if the sights are aligned. If not, like, we can figure out what's going on. 3, if it's something I've never shot, I want to know what's going on with it. Like, I want to be able to speak about it, right? I've been able to shoot a couple of guns that otherwise probably never would have. Some, like, I didn't even know that were made. So, you know, make sure, like, hey, this thing is older than my dad. Jettison this thing like last week's trash, and then get something that's, you know, but it's great, and it's, you know, they used to work, and well, they did, they still do. It's like any technology though. Like, would you like sit down and watch a VHS movie, or would you like throw in at least a DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, right?
What's a VHS?
It's a, never mind. Oh.
Have you had a Webley in the class yet?
No.
I had a remake of a German Luger in 22.
I have had that.
That's a cool gun.
Like, and I ask people, like, why are you bringing a 22 to class, guy? And sometimes it's a lady, but typically I don't ask the ladies because they're normally new shooters.
Yeah.
And I love that, but why are you bringing a 22 to class, buddy? Like, you're not going to carry a 22.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that you're going to shoot better because it's 22? I mean, you might. You really might, but
lower recoil. Technically, you're
cheating. You're
supposed
cheating.
to be able to.
Yeah, you are, and probably, you know, probably will. But
I think I've had my 2 of the nicest guns I've had. I've had a couple of nice Dan Weston 1911s come through that were like
really
smooth.
Yeah, they are really nice guns.
Long slides. Oh, they were gorgeous. They were accurate. Woo. I had a SIG P226 Legion. That was really nice. And I had a Steyr. Oh, what is that called? I can't remember off the time. It's the Steyr polymer pistol, and it looks super futuristic. Like, it's got this weird like angle on the grip, and it was really cool to shoot. And I've never been able to find one since. Like, I'm sure they're around the gun shops, but it was really cool. It was a neat gun. I can't think of the model off the top of my head, but it was cool. So the one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is most of these guns you can put optics on. So when you start getting into whether it's a lever action, a bolt action, a pump, an AR, there's all options for optics for that, whether it's a scope or if it's a red dot. It kind of situation dictates what kind of sight you're going to put on there. You know, for a bolt action, it's probably going to be more for long range, so a scoped optic is going to be best. A shotgun may use a red dot. They actually have some really nice red dots specifically built for shotguns that have a nice kind of a circular reticle in there to kind of give you an idea of the pattern of a shotgun. So a shotgun, if you have buckshot in there, when it exits the barrel, it expands out into like a cloud of rounds. Unless you're shooting a slug, then it's going to be one bullet. But for the most part, it spreads out.
But does it come out like a nest of bees? Like, I want to make sure that we dispel that, like across, like down a hallway. It's not going to come out of a hole like this and then go. Wow. It doesn't do that.
Yeah, you got to imagine it like a very tight funnel.
Right. Was it a Steyr L9?
Oh yeah, I think
I looked it up on my phone.
Oh, technology, yes.
Yeah. Smartphone for a dummy.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Sometimes I think I'd be lost if I didn't have Google.
Oh my gosh.
More often than not. But yeah, I think it was a pretty cool gun. Pretty neat.
It's very futuristic looking. It's like Star Wars or Star Trek or something. But like it looks like if you took Play-Doh and squeezed it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really looks like it fits well into the hand. Like you can get into the gun, high into the frame.
Yeah, it was very comfortable to shoot. It was a little weird because it's a unique firearm, but it was very comfortable to shoot. It was very nice.
Cool.
So
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about shotguns and.
Oh yeah, no problem. I was just talking about optics on different guns. Shotguns, some of their optics that are out there are actually made specifically for shotguns. They have a round circular optic, or they have like a horseshoe optic. It kind of gives you the idea of where your round is going to go because it spreads out like a shotgun does. ARs, you can put long range optics on them. You can put red dot optics on them for short range. You can put a combination red dot with a magnifier on there. I think at some point we're going to do an optics show, and I think between the two of us, we probably have quite a few optics. We can probably go through quite a few of them, but
nope. No,
what?
No,
you don't have any at all.
I have
a
some.
scope.
I have some. Like
I have
optics,
some.
like I think they're cool. Believe me, I do, and I have a few, but they're not my thing. So I'm going to have a lot of homework to do. I have a few things, and I don't have any garbage.
Yeah,
but like I showed up and I took a carbine class. I showed up to a carbine class of 22 or 24 people. Guess who was the only person that was shooting like regular iron sights? This guy. Only person. Like, and I didn't know anything. I mean, I knew that it was going to be probably pretty likely that I would be the only one, but I wanted to see what was what, and I still shot fine. I still placed well at the end of the class. As far as typically you're going to take a class, and at the end of it, there will be a hey, first and second heat, you're going to go against each other for a speed reload drill or whatever. And I still placed really, really well, just with good old boy iron sights.
I have my AR. I use iron sights on them. They're flip ups.
Yeah.
So these are Magpul Pros. I have a red dot for it, but I really haven't had a lot of experience with it. I've shot it a few times, and I just haven't had a lot of time behind it. So I don't choose to use it because I'm more reliable with my steel sights than I am with my red dots. So
yeah,
I need to fix that though, because I really like the idea of red dots. I think they're
I'll tell you what, man. I bought a Trijicon. What was it, MRO? Yeah, MRO.
Yeah,
dude, they're right here, based out of Michigan. I've talked to them. Some of the people, like in their offices, like great people. Like everybody I've talked to there is awesome. They were excited that I was excited that hey, we're from Michigan too. But they have a great product. They have great customer service, and the prices are really, really reasonable for as robust of a product as you're receiving. And I have had absolutely zero issue with the RMO. I love it so far.
Yeah, I mean, though I've had a lot of red dots. As far as like, I've had a couple pistol red dots that are that I've mounted on my Glock, and everything from budget to the RMR, which is the Trijicon RMR, and yeah, for the price, those things, they're bulletproof. I mean, they work every time, all the time, exactly as they're supposed to. And I love that kind of product. I love a product that I can buy once and go, great, I'm probably never going to buy it again.
Right.
Not that I wouldn't buy another one, but they're just never going to have to replace it because it works so well.
Right. I agree. I mean, there's the whole buy once, cry once. And man, sometimes you don't even need to do the cry once, especially with, okay, they're definitely, even with Trijicon, there are some things you can get in some big, big money. But for what most guys are going to do, taking classes or shooting coyotes or whatever with your AR or, RMR for your pistol, you're going to be under what? $800 for a lot of their stuff. You still have mounts and whatever, but some of their stuff is it's all great. Some of it's a little bit higher end, and some of it's like way high end, and some of it's kind of like where the rest of us are at. But yeah, so far I'm happy with everything I've ever picked up from them, whether it was mine and I'm using it or something I borrowed on someone else's gun that I tried out in the class. I mean, everything I've come across from them has been awesome. And I love the fact that they're from Michigan.
Yeah, I love Michigan stuff.
Me too.
Make me happy.
Section 1776. Another Michigan. Yeah. I mean, you guys see me wearing this stuff all the time on the show. And it's another Michigan company.
I just got a blue shirt on today. I don't have anything special.
No row. I didn't see the breast of the shirt, but it was like row your something last time.
Oh, my Tyrannosaurus Rex shirt.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
Row your boat. Arr.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. Well, I think it kind of ties stuff up for long guns. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in long guns you can go over. So maybe we'll do a more specific show about maybe long range long guns at some point in time. This is just a broad introduction to long guns, I think. So if you guys have any questions or comments, just get back to us and we'll try to get them answered. And if you guys like what you guys are seeing, like and share us on Facebook. So You Got a Gun, and be our friends on Google. Follow us on Google and check us out when we decide to do shows at midnight, because that's when we usually do them.
Yep. Hit that subscribe button.
Hit the subscribe button and check us out at midnight on Thursdays. Yeah. I sound like a bad AM radio guy that's talking about UFOs.
I'm not even going to give you that.
Oh, that's not nice.
No.
That's not nice. So one thing before we tie the show up, do a book suggestion, something kind of off topic, because we talk about guns all the time. So I wanted to kind of give you guys kind of what I'm reading, which actually has nothing to do with guns. The book that I'm currently reading, I just finished, is called What Doesn't Kill Us. The author, Scott Carney. It is about Wim Hof, the Iceman. If you haven't heard of this guy, he's got some pretty miraculous stories. He it broke the record for swimming under the ice with shorts and t-shirt. He's climbed Kilimanjaro with shorts and t-shirt, and I believe he's climbed a lot of Mount Everest in shorts and t-shirt. So the book, What Doesn't Kill Us, is Scott Carney is famous for debunking people. And in this book, he decides to go debunk Wim Hof. And it doesn't quite turn out like he thinks it's going to. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, it's very, very interesting. What I find most fascinating about Wim Hof and his methodology is he has been able to repeat it in all of his students. So not only is he able to do it, but he can have his students do the same thing as well. And his methodology not only allows him to withstand extreme temperatures, but it also has a lot to do with his immune system, his ability to fight disease and bacteria in his bloodstream. And it's got a lot of great documentation behind it that's very, very fascinating. So check it out. It's called What Doesn't Kill Us by Scott Carney. And I will put a link in the show notes. And you guys can check it out. I'll put it on Amazon. So,
great.
I think that's it. What do you think, Matt?
Sounds good to me. You know what? Next week, I'll throw out something that either I'm reading or recently have finished up. I already have something cool in mind that's kind of off topic. So hey, thanks a lot, guys, for joining us, guys and gals, for joining us tonight for another episode of So You Got a Gun. Next week, have no idea what we're going to talk about yet, so come back and join us. Have a great week.